And just like that, the 50-minute mark has passed, and we're on... Well, actually, technically it would be the 45-minute mark. The last episode of the recording session. Welcome back to Passive Survival. I'm your host, MegaShadowFist, and I'm actually in the Nether right now on the first ever world that I ever started on the 360 version of Minecraft, because I decided to do something a bit different than my usual. Now I just need to figure out how to get out of here, because I'm freaking lost. It's ridiculous. Okay, there's the hole right there, right? Okay, so I go down here. The hole should be... Yep, I don't know why I was lost. It really wasn't that hard. Whatever the case may be. Now I'm going to have to figure out something random to do, because I pretty much showed off everything in the past 3 episodes, so... Assuming... But then again, I might have to record this, this episode. I might have to re-record this episode in the previous episode if the video decides to go poopy on me for my capturing card. Oh, gee, that really sucks. I might have to... I think I should have enough to buy an Elgato. This might be like the time to upgrade to an Elgato capture card. This might be the time for that. I'm not sure. Whatever the case may be, let's go to sleep. Yeah, what's the movie? Not movie, the book. Go the fuck to sleep. Excuse me. I've mentioned this quite a few times, but Samuel Jackson, did a audiobook. I'm pretty sure you can find it on audio. Is it audiobook.com? No, audible.com. I think you can find it on audible.com. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I don't have some special, audible.com/mega promo code. I was just mentioning it, I know that someone's gonna, get mad at me for getting sponsored by Audible, even though I'm not. I just happen to mention them. I know a lot of people on YouTube tend to mention them because they're sponsored by... I mean, I've never used an audiobook before. I might as well try to use one, because why not? If I were to ever get one, I would definitely go the fuck to sleep. Because why not? Let's see. Ooh, I want to see. Where's the mountain that I used to get the... There's an achievement on the 360 version, because I've actually gotten every achievement on the 360 version of the game, which there are only 20. One of which was, to ride like a pig and have it fall down a certain height without killing it. Or was it without killing it? Or, I don't know. I could always check it later, but... I think it was definitely this mountain. And when I did it, this was before, the carrot on a stick, so you couldn't control where the pig was going. So you were pretty much left to the mercy of the pig. And I fell down right down there. Got the achievement. That was a very hard one to get, actually. Whatever the case may be, now that I'm on the last session... Let me get a drink. Excuse me. The last episode of the recording session, I wanted to, what do you call it? I wanted to talk about random stuff, and in this one, I'm going to talk about, this anime movie that I saw recently by the name of Akira, or Akira as they called it, because, it's Japanese, so Akira makes sense. But whatever the case may be, I actually have a history with this, particular movie. Let's see, let me find something random to do. I'm gonna make some stone axes and then cut down a few trees. Just so I have something to do, so you're not, watching me, pants back and forth. Excuse them all. Let's go back to, this is, 2004 or 2005. I was at a library on base, and, this library in particular had the, you could, not only could you rent books, but you could also rent, DVDs and movies. And so, essentially, the library on base was, closest to, my version of, Blockbuster when I was, younger. Yeah, I was gonna make a couple axes. And they had a couple movies, they had a lot of VHS stuff, which is how I saw, the original Star Wars trilogy was, they had the VHS versions of that. That's how I saw them the first time. And they had a couple of DVDs, and I remember looking at this movie, it was Akira. Not Akira. And you see... Did I say not Akira? Yeah, it was Akira. And you see... In the movie, on the cover, you see, this guy dressed in, this red suit, right? And he's walking towards what looks like what I thought was like a race car or something, like a red race car. And I was like, oh, I remember hearing about this. This is me when I was like, this is 2004, 2005, so I was either 9 or 10, depending on when this particular memory was. I don't remember exactly when it was, I just remember it happening. And I was like, oh, this seems interesting. I remember hearing about it. And then, like, I wonder what it's about. So then I looked at the back of the DVD cover, and it had an R rating. And I was like blown back by this. I was like, what? Because, like, you know, I sort of grew up on, you know, the sort of Western, you know, mentality that we have where, like, cartoons are for children, and, you know, you see unless, like, it's, like, a comedy, it's, because, like, you know, the only adult cartoons that you have, like, in the U.S. are, for most of Western society are, you know, comedies, I'm not even making any sense. The most adult cartoons you have are, like, comedies. Like, no one really, like, takes, like, cartoons seriously in the U.S. You have, like, no one really, like, has the idea, unless, like, they're fans of anime, they don't really think of, like, cartoons as, like, a way to express, you know, a proper story. Let alone, like, an adult story like this. Like, I saw it, I was like, whoa, an R rating, this is crazy. Like, obviously, like, those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know that my parents were actually very strict when it came to stuff like that, and I was definitely not. One, it was an anime, two, it was rated R, and I was like 9 or 10, so there's no way in hell I was going to get my mother to rent that for me, but nor did I want to, because, like, you know, that R rating sort of, like, I was like, whoa, man, this is too hardcore, man. So then, we're going to fast forward to the year of 2014, so, depending on when this memory happened, 9 or 10 years later. Watch Mojo had, like, this random, just a couple of days ago, actually, Watch Mojo had, like, this random, video. It was, like, the top 10 anime powers, for, that, like, we wish we could have, or that they wish that they could have, and Akira was one of them, and I was like, you see, like, this guy, like, it had this guy, he had, like, telekinetic powers, and, like, you know, he was, like, fucking some tanks over, and I was like, what? Like, I remember, like, seeing, like, a movie called Akira or something, but, like, I don't remember if, I don't remember if this is it. And so, like, I went to Netflix, and I saw, like, it had the same cover, like, this guy, like, in a red suit walking towards, like, a red motorcycle. To me, when I saw the cover, up until a few days ago, I thought that Akira was about, like, some, like, guy who was, like, into, like, race car, like, NASCAR type stuff. That's what I thought it was about. And then I found out that it's actually about a lot more than that, actually. I watched the movie just yesterday, on Funimation. Funimation had it in HD, and I watched it dubbed, which is very rare. Usually I prefer to watch, you know, anime subbed, but I don't know, like, older anime, like, stuff from, like, the 80s and stuff, I feel like it just feels more natural to watch it dubbed, because, that's how, like, that's, like, when older anime, I always watched it dubbed, because, you know, the internet, like, watching anime on the internet wasn't, that's more of a recent, you know, trend. A lot of people didn't do that, you know. So, like, if you wanted to, like, watch something, like, with Japanese with subtitles, you'd have to get, like, some fan-animated thing on, like, VHS or, like, bootlegged on DVD or something like that, and, yeah. Obviously, being a little kid, I didn't have those types of resources, so, you know, now because of the internet, I can watch stuff in Japanese, and, you know, it's different. But because it was an older anime movie, I decided to watch it in English, dubbed. It actually had 2 dubs. I believe that it's the newer one, the 2001 dub, due to the quality of the voice audio. I thought that the voice acting is actually pretty good. A lot of people don't like, I think the reason that people, like, dislike dubbed anime is simply because, like, usually the voices aren't, like, exactly the same as the Japanese voices, which makes sense because they're voiced by 2 different people. I mean, you know, that goes without saying. And, it's like, if you watch I mean, there are some very bad dubs. Like, 4Kids always had bad dubs for anime type stuff, but you know, majority of English dubbing really isn't that bad. I just prefer to watch in Japanese because of, you know, authenticity. But back to the subject. I watched it on Funimation yesterday. It's set in the year 2019. So according to the so in the universe of this anime took place in 1988. There was a bomb that went off in Tokyo, and it's sort of like there's like. I don't know, I'm making an onomatopoeia for it, but whatever the case may be, it started World War III, and then the movie takes place 31 years after that event in the year 2019, in case you can't add, in Neo-Tokyo, which is like this rundown, terrible frickin' looking place. Like, there are a bunch of like bike gangs. In fact, like the main characters are part of a bike gang. Like, the schools are like frickin' like, they're graffiti. Like, think of like, you know, in order to picture Neo-Tokyo, picture like Detroit and like slums of like New York and Chicago like mixed together, but like on steroids. Like, that's what this place is like. Like, there are some nicer places in Neo-Tokyo. Like, there's like, you could see at the beginning of the movie, there's this couple who are like dressed in fancy clothes, fancy schmancy clothes, going to like some sort of restaurant. But for the most part, you're if you were to live in Neo-Tokyo, you would be living in a very shitty place, and honestly, I would hate to live in that area. And so there's part of this biker gang, and I'll just leave it at that. Like, if you want to figure it out for yourself, you can always watch it. You can watch it for free on Funimation, but you'll have to deal with you'll have to deal with advertisements. But Funimation has it so that you can watch. Funimation has it so that you can sign up for 14 days. You can have their free trial of their premium content, so you can watch it in HD without the advertisements. Because I was watching it for free, and like there were like 9 or 10 different like white dots on the stream that I could tell were like spots that they were going to place advertisements on the streamline, and each advertisement showed like 3 advertises, and they were all like 120 seconds long, so like 2 minutes, which is ridiculous. It was basically like watching like legitimate television. Actually, I believe it was a bit longer than that, because I don't think that television. It's like usually, if a TV show takes up a half an hour block on TV, that means that the actual thing is 22 minutes. So you see 8 minutes of advertisement. 45 minutes for an hour, so you see 15 minutes of advertising. So this, that, and the other. If you see 3 advertisements which are at least a minute long, so say that's 3 minutes, that's 30 minutes for 2 hours. Yeah, that's about equivalent to like regular television, which is ridiculous. Like I'm okay with having advertisements at the beginning of YouTube videos, because you know if it's longer than 30 seconds, you can skip it, you know, and you're supporting content creators. But seeing advertisements like scattered about like a movie, it's kind of annoying. But you know, yeah, there's always a free trial, unless you already used up your free trial on Funimation. I don't think many people have, because I don't think many people stream on Funimation, because there are various other websites that people go to watch their anime in Japanese. But whatever the case may be, it was actually really good. One thing I liked about it was the quality of the even when I was like, I watched like the first couple of minutes in SD before I realized how many advertisements they're gonna have to sit through and upgrade it to the Funimation Premium. It really sucked. Like the quality is like, I'm not making sense. The animations were so smooth, even in SD. Like, it was really clean quality. Like, typically I tend to avoid older anime simply because, I'm not making any sense, because, the quality, I've become a bit of a quality snob, and older anime don't have the, digital touch-ups that, most modern anime do, but this anime is very, very clean. The animations were very smooth. I mean, you could still tell that it was, like, an older anime because of, like, the color. Like, older anime tend to have, like, a certain color to them, obviously, but it was really, really good. Very good. It was, I looked up on Wikipedia, it had a budget of 1,000,000,000 yen, and the inflation calculator that I had for 1988 could only, the inflation calculator that I used only has 10 million. So if you were to change that into like American dollars, that's 11 million. So I wasn't able to get an accurate, you know, conversion, but it's a little over. I'd say that like $10 million in 1988 is worth is like 19 million now. So because of the extra 1 million, I'd say that I'd probably put in about $22-23 million for a budget, which is actually for movie production. That's actually relatively cheap, especially for something like an animated movie of that caliber. Like, seriously, the amount of man hours that I imagine that went about on that movie were ridiculous, because they didn't use computers to touch up a single thing. You wouldn't be able to tell because of how clean it looked, but it was amazing. Like, it was a good movie. I would like to go into it a bit more, but I don't want to spoil anything. Well, the only critique I'd have for it is, like, if you're one of those people who wants to, at the very end of a movie, you like to have, like, the plot and everything summed up in, you know, a nice little bow tie and wrapped up nice and neat, you're not going to get that, because it leaves off. It's one of those movies that, you know, leaves for interpretation at the end, which, like, when it ended, I was just like, what the hell is going on? I just immediately went to, like, I googled, like, Akira ending explained. It was just like how the ending of American Psycho with Christian Bale ended. I was just like, it was one of those movies where you just wanted to, like, Google and see what other people's thoughts on the ending were and everything. But whatever the case may be, I've actually recorded for 2 minutes longer than I planned on. So I need to wrap this up with a question of the session and then call it a day. So we're going to go to settings, and we're going to go to audio. We're going to drop this down to 0%. And I'm going to need to get a drink. There we go. Now, the music should be on. It definitely should be on by now. And it's time for the question of the session. And this question is... this is a very random question. What was the longest that you've ever gone without, like, sleeping? Like, I think the longest I've ever gone is, like, 24 hours. Like, I used to have this thing where, during my birthday, I'd invite a few friends over, and then we'd have, like, a birthday sleepover thing. I haven't had one since sophomore year of high school, but, during my 7th grade one is, like, the most special or whatever, because... we pulled an all-nighter and we played, like, Super Paper Mario on the Nintendo Wii and lots of other stuff. We saw the Simpsons movie in theaters. It was really fun, but I remember because it was over the weekend. People came over on Saturday. Yeah, people came over on Saturday, you know, and we sort of just, like, hung out and stuff, and then we didn't go to sleep, obviously. And then, and then Sunday, it was like 2 p.m. on a Sunday, like the last person left, and I felt full of energy. But then I turned on TV, went on Boomerang, and I was watching Popeye, and the next thing I know, the alarm went off and it's time for me to go to school. It was the biggest buzzkill ever. Yeah, I think the longest I've ever gone is like 28 hours or something like that. But I don't make a habit of that because I'm not an insomniac, but, you know, I know that some people are, and if that's the case, what is the longest that you've ever had to do, and why? Because I imagine that people choose to go 24 hours without sleeping unless they're being stupid. But whatever the case may be, I give myself 3 more seconds for the music to play. And there we go. That sounded really weird there for a second. Let's bring the music back up to 70% and wrap this session up. Go back to 70, there we go. And if you like this video or this series of videos, please feel free to leave a like. If you thought it was cool, please feel free to subscribe and join the Elven Brotherhood today. Also, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/MegaShadowFist. I'll be sure to leave that in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is MegaShadowFist signing out. Bye.